Hey guys, Ellie here from Next Chapter Homestead. So today I'm going to take you along with me on my journey through the garden. I have a couple of small tasks to complete and a few big ones. Here's to hoping we get them all done, but we'll see what we manage. I'm going to start today in the driveway and show you the progress of some of the things we've started together. Let's go. So not too long ago we actually planted, well, it was long ago, it was the beginning of winter, we planted these potatoes in this pot to see what would happen to them, whether or not we'd manage to grow potatoes through our winter. And everything was going really well up until we had a bit of snow, and it wasn't like a real heavy snow, it was more of a light dusting of sleet. But for those of us who don't generally get snow, it was a snowy day. And these potatoes unfortunately haven't really made it. We have this one little sprig that's still holding on, and we're just not sure whether or not we should pull them and harvest and see what we get, or whether we leave them and see what happens with this little guy. Moving on, we have 2 volunteer tomatoes in these 2 containers, and they are erupting with flowers. So there are a few. Let me see if I can find one for you. Okay, as you can see here, there are a few tomatoes developing, so that's exciting. The first tomatoes of the season, and they were volunteers, so we'll let you know how those taste and what they turn out like. Then over here we've got our zucchini, which is beasting it at the moment. The squash from my mom that I can't pronounce, as well as our acorn squash. In these 2 containers I had originally planted a market more cucumber, and in that one over there I had planted one of the squash that I can't pronounce from my mom. But unfortunately, Myrtle on one of her escapades annihilated both of them. So today we will be filling those with something else. And the likelihood is that it will be a butternut plant. Hey guys, so that's the progress from the driveway. And now we're going to move on to things that we have in our actual yard. And I'm going to start with harvesting some herbs that we are going to dehydrate to make mixed herbs with. Right, this is my old faithful wheelbarrow. What I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to clean up some of the clover that's growing in here and harvest some parsley as well as some garlic chives so that we can start dehydrating them for mixed herbs. I realize that I'm not doing the best job of weeding, but if I'm perfectly honest, I like to leave some of the weeds behind so that on weeding days the chickens get a bit of a treat, because they really do love this oxalis in whatever shape or form it comes in. So if I miss a few, it's not the end of the world, because when it does grow back it'll get fed to the chicks. I'm not sure if you can see this, but we definitely do have a couple of strawberries developing, and I'm super excited to have those this year. Now that we've removed some of the weed pressure, I'm just going to come around and cut this garlic chives all the way back. It's going to look harsh, but ultimately they can withstand the brutality. Right, so we're at our next stop, which is just under the archway, and I'm going to be harvesting some parsley over there and parsley in front of us and pulling out some of the oxalis in the chili pot, and we're going to see whether or not this chili actually comes back this year. Harvest some of this marjoram and add it to our herb mix. In this pot we have 2 garlics growing, some flat leaf parsley and some thyme. I won't be harvesting from this container today because this one I'm going to keep for fresh eating. Guys, we got a pretty significant herb harvest. We have marjoram, oregano, parsley, garlic chives, and thyme. Should make for a nice mixed herb. Hey guys, so not too long ago in one of our previous videos we actually planted out in the space that I'm in currently. We planted some kale and some Swiss chard. Some of them germinated and some of them didn't. So today I'm going to try a little bit of a strange experiment. What I want to do is I want to replant my plants but space them out so that they have a better opportunity of reaching their full potential because they've already germinated. So let's give it a shot. Since this is a singular one, I'm going to leave it where it is. This is 2. Let's see if we can get them apart gently. Here I have 3, so I'm just going to separate those 3. Give each of them a little bit more space to grow. Right. Did have a somewhat exciting discovery, at least for me. Over here, this is our dahlia coming back. And as far as I can recall, this particular dahlia is red and yellow. I don't know what it's called, but I'll try and keep you updated on that. I'm quite excited for that. It managed to overwinter. That's pretty cool. Right, so I was just stringing up the broad beans and harvesting the ones that were ready when I stumbled across my kale. So I thought I'd take this as an opportunity just to show you that all gardens have issues, and in order to prevent them there are some things you can look for. So if you look at this particular kale plant, this leaf is full and it has the frills on the edge, so it is curly, but it's not abnormally curly. If you look at this leaf, however, you can actually see how it is warped and is curling in on itself. That is a surefire indicator that you've got aphids. So I'm just going to take you a little closer so you can actually see. If I flip this leaf, you can see that the aphids have taken over. Right, so there are some options here. What you could do is you could spray that quite heavily with a hose pipe at a high pressure and it would blast the aphids off, which theoretically, yes, would work, but I feel that it just blows them onto my other plants. You could remove any leaves that are showing symptoms like this and you can feed them to your chickens, or you could dispose of them. I, however, am going to pull this entire plant. It's not yielding enough for me to try and save it. It hasn't been one of my favorites this season either, so I'm just going to let it go, pull it out and throw the entire plant to the girls. Right, so with most of the weeding done, we do have a bit of planting space, which comes in handy because we do have some plants to plant. So recently I went to visit my mom and she gave me a tomarillo that she grew from seed. as well as a pepper. I'm not 100% sure which kind it is, but it's going in the ground today. We also have 2 eggplants that sprouted, one long purple and one black beauty that are finding their homes today. Let's get planting. As you can see, I've just put the container you saw earlier from the original squash that we had planted. And I'm going to go and plant an Ashley cucumber or 2 in that pot. I'll train one to go up the short end and along and over the arch, and the other one will train to go directly over the arch. At least in theory, this should work. This is what we have left to work with now that the sweet peas are done, and we're going to plant some lazy housewife runner beans. Right, so I'm going to plant 5 plants. That is completely overkill, but we don't know that they're all going to sprout, and if they do, we'll deal with it when they do. Yeah, so we made it to the end of the day, and I just wanted to say thank you for hanging out with me today. I really enjoyed my time in the garden, and I hope you enjoyed your time hanging out with me. We got a lot done today. We managed to do weeding, and we planted out some of the seedlings that we've started, as well as planted some seeds with the hope that they will take off by the time summer rolls around. There isn't anything that says that they shouldn't work, but we're going to give it a shot anyway, right? Thank you again, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to like our post, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.